Challenges of dealing with a tough bureaucracy. When I say bureaucracy, I don't mean bureaucrats per se, but the laid down procedures and the norms and several things that come in the way. So yes, one thing that kind of keeps me up is not being able to deliver as quickly as I want to. Secondly, I would say understanding fully well that you have limited time and you have to deliver in that limited time. So therefore, it makes you anxious and it makes you want to do more and want to, outdo yourself every single day. So especially, when it comes to certain issues which become a huge challenge, like for example, traffic. A lot of people keep pointing out saying, sir, traffic in Hyderabad is growing. How do we address it? See, this is a problem which has plagued every city in the world. You cannot find quick fixes, quick solutions. You have to improve your public transportation. You have to simultaneously start working on several aspects, and which takes a bit of a time. Improve your infrastructure. Only then things will start falling in place. So,
thank you, Ram. Can we take a few questions from the audience? So we'll take a few questions from the audience for the Honorable Minister. Yes, go ahead. No, that man. Yes.
Use your lung power, if you can.
Can somebody get the mic? Take this. Mic is there? Okay.
I think there's a mic for you.
Yeah.
Sir, since you are the IT minister...
What's your name, sir?
My name is Vinayaka and I am a medical student.
Hi.
So, in the recent past 70 years, there has been no improvement in medical education. So, since you are the IT minister and you are so in touch with technology, you might be aware of simulation and mannequins. So, are we going to be the first state to introduce mannequins into medical education so that medical students may benefit from the...
Well, I have limited knowledge of the subject that you just mentioned, simulation and medical education. I don't really, like I told you, I escaped from being a doctor, so I don't really know. But we are all for trying new things. We've been fairly open when it comes to adopting technologies, because I'm not a technologist per se. I'm not a technologist by profession, by training. But I understand how technology can be harnessed. I understand how technology can be leveraged for the good of the society. I think that's important for any person in government to understand. So therefore, I'm all for it if you are able to give me a white paper on how technology can help you through simulation or other models in medical education, how that can help the people. Because ultimately, any technology which does not have a societal impact, a social good, a technology which does not really bring about a social change, is futile. So if you're able to give me something, and I'm sure you believe that I'm going to come back after 11. That's why you're asking me this question. Thanks.
Thank you. Can you give...
Hi, sir. I'm Rajnikant. I have a
question. Too many Rajnikants here. What, Robo 2 now? What?
Yeah.
What are you, Robo 3? Chepu.
My question is, it is related to IT sector. I'm very happy to announce that I'm very happy to came to know that IT exports improved from 52,000 crores to 1,00,000 crores within 4 years. My question here is, every IT company choose to Gachibowli and Madhapur and related to these places only. And here the traffic is very, very huge in office timings especially. Do you have any plan to relocate the IT sector into other areas of Hyderabad? That is my question.
Thank you, Rajnikant. Let me point out, we came out with a policy called Look East. This is the western part of Hyderabad, which he talked about, Gachibowli, Kondapur, Madhapur, and the place where we're seated, where in fact life is getting a bit too congested. So therefore, we've started looking at East, Uppal, Pocharam, LB Nagar. These are the regions which is going to be the next focus. In fact, we are offering huge incentives for IT companies to actually start looking there. In fact, one of the companies which is already there is Genpact, another one is Infosys. And I'm hoping more and more companies. In fact, I have one big, large company which has just recently decided that they'll move about 5,000 people there. Hopefully, we'll start building on that momentum and start pushing more to East. But not just the eastern part of Hyderabad. We're also going to build something substantial and something large in Kompally, in the northern part of Hyderabad as well. In the southern part of Hyderabad, fortunately for us, right beside the airport, we have a large electronic manufacturing cluster. So if you have a dispersed activity all around, you see that part, Maheshwaram, where we have Ravi Real, that part, and then in Kompally to the northern part, and the western part, we already have a lot of companies here, and then the eastern part. So you could have dispersed activity. Our goal is something like this, Rajnikant. In fact, we have an outer ring road which we've really not completely harnessed. I would say 160 kilometers of this wonderful beltway, which we've not been able to completely harness. So we want to develop pockets around it. We've come out with a township policy where any private developer can come in and with a minimum size of, I think it's 50 acres is the minimum size we've set up. You can come in, start utilizing the government incentives and build self-contained townships. It could have some IT companies, it could have some processing and non-processing zones, so residential and commercial activity, etc., all embedded in one. The live, work, learn, play concept, so people don't have to travel quite a bit. So we're trying all this, and another thing I'm very, very upbeat about, which I believe also will be a game changer, is the airport metro express connectivity. See, airport metro express is not just for airport. My intention is something like this. See, people who work in the western part of Hyderabad, who cannot afford to live here because of the highly prohibitive costs, should be able to go out to Shamshabad, buy a villa there, and commute to this part of the town easily through airport express so that they can have a good, comfortable stay there and also come work here. This part would be decongested, even that part would grow, so that south, west, north, east, all rounds of Hyderabad, all parts of Hyderabad, every nook and corner can develop in sync. That's the kind of vision we are dabbling with right now.
Good morning, sir.
Hi.
Good morning, Ramana, sir. So, my name is Dinesh. I work for a company called Electronic Arts, EA Games, as a workplace manager, and I'm part of FMC Group, the Facilities Management Council. So my question here is you have a great vision, and the government has a great vision. But the government, if you see the systems of the government in addressing any challenges, there is no sustainability. So if we come, if it is Swachh Bharat or Harita Haram or the footpaths, so we just see the traction for a month with all the news channels, all the officials just come. After a month, again, we just see it just steep down. So we don't see any traction over it over a point of time. So what is your vision in coming? I think how you have come up with T-Hub by a lot of brainstorming. So do we revisit all our processes and come up with very sustainable models, or there should be government bodies which should continuously monitor for sustainable practices?
A great question, Dinesh. Thank you. In fact, a lot of times there is an initial outburst of enthusiasm which cannot be sustained later is the question. A lot of good initiatives, a lot of well thought out, meaningful initiatives which don't typically last or deliver because the outcome is never really monitored or sustained. Great question. There are two things we can do. One, as an initiative like Harita Haram, for example, or Swachh Bharat, because you mentioned both of them. See, Swachh Bharat, you see, when Prime Minister Modi launched it, and when he initially started sweeping also, just as a photo op, sweeping the road, just to demonstrate that even the Prime Minister is doing it, you also need to get involved. The intent, or when the Chief Minister does it, the intent is not that Prime Minister is going to sweep or Chief Minister is going to sweep your roads every day. The intent is for people to get. The message is for people to get that even a man like Prime Minister is focused on this, so we might as well start acting on our own and start doing something every single day. A lot of times in India, community participation is a huge challenge. Sustained community participation is even a bigger challenge. There is that initial outburst of enthusiasm. When we started Harita Haram, a lot of organizations came forward, they said, sir, we'll plant. Yes, you did. But what after? Now, I can't go around and water every single sapling that has been planted. 100 crore saplings have been planted. It is our individual social responsibility as well. People talk about corporate social responsibility, CSR. There is ISR also, individual social responsibility of not littering, of keeping our streets clean, watering the plants that we've planted, etc., etc. So, for this to sustain, there has to be a lot of public participation for one, a lot of volunteerism, so to put. Secondly, even a government needs to start monitoring its goals, its objectives. We've done that in Mission Kakatiya. That's why you see the results. So we've broken it into 5 phases. 20,000 tanks have been completed, like I pointed out. But there are 26,000 more to go. So we broke that into 3 more windows, 3 more phases. And we are going after them aggressively also. Now, Harita Haram or Swachh Bharat, unless people participate along with government, things will not change and things will not see the outcomes we all want. But ultimately, when it comes to taking tough calls, it becomes a huge challenge for government. When my daughter was 5, I took her to Singapore, on a holiday. I told her the day she landed there that if you start littering, in Singapore you will be jailed. She was shocked. She said, really? I said, yes. For next 1 week we were there. She did not litter. She was very, very well behaved. But as soon as she came back to India, back to normal. Point I'm trying to make is, Indians, I'm not just pointing out to any one of us, including myself. I'm not, different from any of you. We are, हमारे यहाँ एक attitude है, चलता है, कुछ नहीं होगा, चलता है. Go in the wrong route, चलता है. Jump the signal, चलता है. Jump the, get onto the zebra crossing, chalta hai. We have that attitude, and then this very gentleman or this very lady, when she's driving in the West or in another country, is extremely well behaved, is extremely law abiding. There is something यहाँ पे पानी में कुछ गड़बड़ है, which makes us take it for granted, take our freedom for granted. So maybe when it comes to taking some tough calls, when that movie came out, Mahesh Babu's, a lot of people ask me, why don't you start fining people, imposing heavy fines on people who violate traffic rules? Easier said than done, trust me. Itna आसान नहीं है. So I told Mahesh also the same thing. I said, easy है, movie में बता दिए easy है, real life not so easy. Even Mahesh would not like it if I start fining him way too much, So point is, for sustained outcomes of good initiatives, we need larger participation from the public, and at the same time, a more focused approach from the government, which measures every single metric there is to be measured and also takes accountability, which is, yes, a bit, lax right now.